that Nyota is putting that question to you in terms of what this is doing to the average Nigerian is some of the statistics that we looked at on Nigeria having the 20th highest death rates. That is something that is staggering from our perspective. A lot of people, sadly to say, are committing suicide in this particular economy. We've seen a lot of that in 2017. So I don't know whether it's any comfort to them when they hear that this is going to go on for longer and we're not in control of
Let me come in.
variables.
There are many variables. Things outside our control are more than things within our control. However, it's quite clear that on May 15, 2016, when we moved the price of petrol from 87 to 145, the exchange rate that was used was 285. The price of oil at that time was $42 a barrel. And some other things were clear, right? Now, ever since then, we fixed the price at 145. Foreign exchange was to be made available also to the importers as well as the NMPC. Between May 15, 2016 and now, all of these variables have changed. So if you have a static solution to a dynamic problem, you are bound to run into conflict. And that is exactly where we are. So the truth is that price control cannot work. We've accepted the reality that in an election year we cannot, or in a recession, we have to subsidize the people. So let's accept that subsidies are there. How to manage the subsidies? And let us go back when the administration came to power and before the last administration, this question of maintaining turnaround maintenance of our refineries. Some people, market-driven economists have said, sell these refineries. Any attempt to retrieve them from whatever it is a dead man walking. Forget it. It's a bridge to nowhere. 3 years later, we are looking at it, and they are not performing. So I'm hoping that the president, in discussing the statement tomorrow, will also accept that the solution, one of the solutions, is to sell those refineries off and stop, playing around with these suboptimal solutions. Let us have solutions that work. Nobody has come here, MTN, Etisalat, and all. The companies do well and all of that, and the telecom sector is performing. People are investing in it. If we did the same things for petroleum refining, just like the LNG, which is a good, then we'll begin to see solutions. And for now, we have to accept that because there's hoarding, one. Two, because everybody is afraid. So people that normally fill their tank up to 25% are now filling 100%. The demand has more than doubled. It will take some time before the confidence will be restored and all of that. So it's part of the problem that we have. And it's a perennial problem, and we have to solve it with a broad solution, the way I see it. Sell off those refineries, encourage Dangote's refinery to fast forward, right? And then, more than anything else, have a pricing mechanism that works. There's no queue in Cotonou. There's no queue in Lomé. There's no queue, and they don't have refineries. So it's a market, it's a perception and market problem. We need to have the pricing right. And even if you know you are going to subsidize it, then pay the subsidies at the right time so everybody is happy and they can do things.
Okay, Mr. Additional, let me go, shall I?
Yeah, I wanted to ask him, Mr. Additional, I thought this government removed the subsidy regime.
You know, it was not a complete deregulation. It was not complete.
It was not complete.
Yes,
so
because the fact that
subsidy.
The fact that prices were even fixed at 145 already showed you that it was not a complete deregulation.
So what stopped this administration from deregulating completely?
Well, you need to know what the president thinks and feels about it, and what he says.
That's one close
That's what
You can't do it without a wage review. Listen,
that's what I'm leading to.
You can't do it without wage review. You see, it's easy to say.
Let him tell us.
The president keeps saying that when oil prices were at 120 per dollar, 110 per dollar, what did the ordinary Nigerian gain? Nothing. All the money was stolen, misappropriated.
Yeah, but
now, because oil prices fell and prices of petrol have to go up, why should the ordinary man be the one that bears the brunt? That is the president's position.
So who's bearing the brunt now?
The ordinary man.
It's still the ordinary man.
It's still the ordinary man, but you hear that the landing cost for petrol now is 171.
And so when the ordinary man goes to buy petrol, he pays the same price that the not ordinary man pays.
No. If petrol lands at 171, then it means the ordinary man should be buying petrol at about 180 for now. but it's still 145.
You see, if you don't deal with the wage, it's a total package. So for now, subsidies are reverse taxes. So as far as we're concerned, look, pay the subsidy and do it efficiently. So there's an efficient subsidy regime and an inefficient subsidy regime. Let's face it, for now, until you do the total package, you can't do anything.
It's that issue of doing it efficiently. That has been the problem all along.
Well, maybe that's what the president is going to talk about at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Because
this 7 a.m.
Yeah. The 7 a.m. call.
Mr. Ruan, the question, you talked about reverse tax.
Yes.
So let's look at the tax regime in this economy. I mean, this government has been talking about increasing taxation, increasing tax revenue coming to the country.
Yes.
When you look at the indices available, do you think we have the parameters to achieve this? And then why are people not paying tax?
The government never said they want to increase tax. The government wants to be more efficient in its tax collection.
Collection. That has been the issue, yes.
So
I said increasing tax revenue.
Yes, so that's good, because our tax to GDP ratio is low. And the people are expecting the government to do it. The government can't fund it from the air. They have to pay for it. But the truth is that the people are encouraged to pay taxes if they can see how their taxes are being used. If they think that the taxes that they're paying are being stolen or leaking, then there's a problem. So that's why Kemi Adeosun is saying, I want to block the leakages first. I want to increase the tax mobilization second. But more important now, we have to deploy those resources efficiently. When we talked about efficiency, those are the key things on the ground. But you see, it's a total package, right? And, at this point in time, there are certain things that we cannot afford to do except we do certain things first. So the sequencing is important. So from the government's perspective, I think that if you went and revised the minimum wage, arbitrarily, you will lead to all sorts of distortions in economic activities. But you have to address that. If we address the minimum wage, address the money supply issue, address our interest rates and economic activity, add all of this to the good things that we've seen in the chart that we've seen, the economy is going to come out really booming in 2018. When I say booming, we're going to about 2.3 or maybe 3%, just equal to the population growth rate. That's good enough because you have come all the way from negative 3% all the way down, all the way back up. And so gradually we're going to be seeing ourselves exiting the recession permanently and sustainably.
You've mentioned again the interest rates.
Yes.
And when you're talking about the slides, you talked about Ghana.
Yes.
How they reduce their interest rates
four times.
2017. Do we have the indices and the parameters to do that in the country? And if we do that, how would it, what about the issue of, you were the one that mentioned it one time in the studio where you talked about the marrying of the monetary policy
with
fiscal policy of government. So these are two questions in one now. So do we have what it takes?
First and foremost, you must know what you're doing, one. Two, you must have the courage to do it. You see, if you're waiting for everything to be right before you do the right thing, then there's no point. I've always said it here that there's no point reading for an exam after, reading after the exam.
I think you call it status quo economy.
Yeah, status quo economy.
Yeah.
Now, you've got to do something at the time you have to do it. You can't be afraid to do it. So the Nigerian government and the Nigerian Monetary Policy Committee must have the audacity to take those steps, because the real problem is low economic activity, high unemployment. You need to induce that. The sectors that are interest rate sensitive have not grown positively enough. The sectors that are interest rate not sensitive, insensitive, oil, those guys don't borrow. Then agri had intervention money. All the other sectors are technically, they're struggling. This LCCI, Muda Yusuf was here, and they've said it time and time again, lower these interest rates.
So if they keep saying it and we keep hearing it, we keep analyzing it, why is it not happening?
Well, it's a question of directionally. You are not going to just drop the interest rates. Ghana did it 4 times. So even if you change it directionally, in the last 4 weeks, though, or 5 weeks, we've seen the treasury rates begin to come down. So directionally, and the central bank governor has said it openly that he thinks that in the first quarter of 2018, which is in a few hours, we are going to see that slide in interest rates, which will encourage. So directionally, I think there's no doubt about it. But it's the ability to do it and do it at the right time. That is it. And what the purpose of this debate is to encourage monetary policymakers to have the courage to now go all the way and do that, and that the world will not come to an end because the reserves are robust enough. All the other things are happening positively, so we just complement it.
Your final comments, Mr. Additional.
Well, the days ahead are going to be quite better. The projection was that 2018 will see our foreign reserves hit 40 billion.
Yes.
It already did, even at the end of 2017. So the days ahead are good.
All right, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, thank you for joining us on the program. And as always, MD, CEO of Financial Derivatives, Mr. Bismarck Romane, thanks for sharing your thoughts, I'll put it that way, on the program as we move on.
Yes, indeed. Just for I'd like to let you know that you can be a part of the conversations. Our Twitter handles and the hashtag will be showing on the screen. Just let us know what you think about the outgoing year. Again, the hashtag 2017 in retrospect. We'll be back. Don't go away.